We are what? We are who? We are what? Vibrant. We are who? 50 plus. Hi, welcome to Gray Lives on the Rise. I am your host, Professor Jamila Franklin, and we are coming to you from Oyende Enterprises, being sponsored by Jamila Sense, which is our product line of aromatherapy products that helps heal the mind, body, and soul. And we are bringing to you Alamaj's rebirthing program, as well as Jamila Sense and a host of wonderful programs that will help heal your body, heal your soul, and heal your mind. 50 plus people, we are here to stay. Gray Lives on the Rise. We are what? We are who? We are vibrant, and we are here to stay. Join us for our wonderful episodes. Thank you, and continue to look for our episodes weekly, being brought to you again from Oyende Enterprises and Jamila Sense. See you soon. Greetings, everyone. Welcome again to Gray Lives on the Rise. And I am your host and founder, Professor Jamila Franklin, and we have the lovely Yvette, also known as Yvette Willams and Yvette Diamond, and we're in for a treat today. So, before we get started, let me just give you some background information about who we are. Gray Lives on the Rise started about 2 years ago in 2024, and I was just walking because I love exercising, right? So all of a sudden, this download came into my consciousness, and it basically stated, there's nothing out there that targets your demographic. I thought about it, and the download further went on to say people who are 50 plus, there's nothing out there in America except Medicare and AARP. And I am vegan, and so I don't have any health challenges to my knowledge, but it doesn't mean because I'm vegan, because there are people who are vegan who do have health challenges, but I'm just very blessed that I don't have any. And AARP gives you the image of people who are retired, sedentary, and not doing much, when in fact that is far from being the case. So both Medicare and AARP are viable organizations, but I'm just not connected to them emotionally like that. So I said, then more information said you need to give it a name, you need to have merchandise, and you need to relanguage how people see themselves. So we are not elderly, we're not senile, we're not over the hill, we are vibrant, we are alive, we are seasoned, we are mature, and we are people who have it going on, people, okay? So I said, yeah, I like that. And then I thought about, okay, what should I call it? So I said, Gray Lives Matter. I said, And then Gray Lives on the Rise came to my mind. I said, wow, I like that, because lives rhymes with rise, and we're on the upswing. We're not going down. I said, wow, that's cool. And then the next thing was like, okay, you need to brand it, and you need to have it where people can recognize it. So I said, yeah. So the brand came up with Gray Lives on the Rise with shirts. We have t-shirts, we have hoodies, cosmetic bags, floor mats. We have everything in our store. So you have to visit our store so you can become a part of this vibrant community. The last thing was the podcast. So am I talking to people from around the world, because this is a global podcast? They all said the same thing. When you hit 50 and above in all the countries, people tend to relegate you to a place of insignificance, and you seem to be viewed as not important. And the irony is all of the people who are younger than 50 work for people, for the most part, who are 50 plus. So their bosses are in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. But then when we go for employment or whatever, they're not going to hire you in a lot of cases. Not in all, but in a lot of cases. So I said, we need to just talk amongst ourselves, baby boomers, millennials. We have a large demographic, and we can buy from each other. we can support each other, we can just be there for each other. So that resonated with me. And so we've had speakers from Serbia and Eastern Europe, Haiti, New Zealand, the Netherlands, Australia, Canada, the UK, Costa Rica. We've had people, and of course the US. We've had people from around the world because it's global. We've had men, we've had women, we have people of all races, ethnic groups, and religions. So, yeah. So, having said that, I'm going to tell you about the company that's underwriting it. One of my companies, which is Jamila Sense, and the product is Peace Be Still. I have an aromatherapy company as well as some other companies. And when you go to my website, you're going to see all these wonderful products and companies that I have. So with this one, you see how transparent it is? Okay, so it's an aromatherapy blend and it works wonders. You just put a few drops in your hands and you, oh my goodness, you inhale it 10 times. I'll do just 3. And it gets rid of stress, anxiety, depression, hyperactivity within children, sinus congestion, sinus headaches, migraine headaches. It gets rid of PMS. It gets rid of anything that's a stressor. So, and you can put the rest on your arms, and it gets rid of flies and mosquitoes. They won't come near you. And it only has lavender, lemongrass, and geranium. And you know what? I make it myself. Everything in my company, I make myself for the most part. And so it's an amazing product. Okay, so go to our website, Oyende Enterprises, and Gray Lives on the Rise is the latest baby of the company. And it's Oyende Enterprises is spelled O, Y like in young, I like independent, N like a neighbor, D like in dog, E, and then another E like an elephant, N like in Nancy, T like in Tom, E like in elephant, R like in Robert, P like in Paul, R like in Robert, I like in independent, S like in Sam, E like in elephant, S like in Sam.com. OyendeEnterprises.com. You will find Peace Be Still. You will find Jamila Sense, which is my aromatherapy company. And more importantly, you will find Gray Lives on the Rise. That tab is there. And we're just waiting for you to join us. We are vibrant, okay? We're taking this world by storm. So be part of it. We're here every Sunday. So now, without further ado, and I'm a certified aromatherapist, a certified Reiki master, a college professor of psychology. I have my own healing modality called healing ancestral trauma because most people, and especially people of color, are suffering from PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, and for people of color, post-traumatic slave disorder. So those are my specialties, and I work with people to eliminate that energy from your aura. Okay, so give me a call. Okay. All right, so now without further ado, we have Miss Yvette Diamond Williams. And Yvette, turn your camera up or down so it can have your, yeah, your entire.
Okay, is that better?
Okay. A little up. Perfect. That's perfect.
Okay.
So we have Miss Yvette. This woman is incredible. Do you hear me? She is incredible. Yvette Willams, STEAAM, Program Director, Strategic Operations Leader, Curriculum Innovator. Yvette Willams is a purposeful and accomplished leader dedicated to bridging the gap between complex technology and foundational education. Now, with a career spanning high-level strategic operations at the Pentagon to grassroots educational innovation, Yvette specializes in directing multifaceted programs that empower the next generation of thinkers, creators, and problem solvers. Now, this petite young woman has done incredible, incredible stuff. Okay. Working with the Pentagon, now down to working with grassroots programs that focus on children. She's amazing. The STEAM, STEAAM visionary. As a STEAM and AI program director, Yvette has redefined K through 5 education by integrating cutting-edge concepts like robotics, coding, and pattern recognition into age-appropriate project-based curricula. She is a pioneer in facilitating inquiry, guiding young learners through hands-on investigations that foster deep curiosity and a scientific approach to real-world challenges. Her leadership extends to makerspace design, building dynamic environments for design thinking and prototyping, AI advocacy, instilling principles of digital citizenship and ethical AI engagement in early learners, artistic integration, championing the arts in STEAM, STEAAM, to demonstrate how creative expression fuels technological innovation, strategic and operational excellence. Before transitioning her focus to educational leadership, Yvette served as a powerhouse, and she is, in operations management and IT resource integration for the Department of the Army. At the Pentagon, she managed an information technology budget exceeding $1.5 billion, overseeing policy development and resource oversight for the Army Chief Information Office. Her expertise in life cycle operations and risk mitigation allowed her to streamline enterprise-wide processes and secure long-term funding for critical infrastructure through 2028. Empowering educators and teams. Yvette's true impact lies in her ability to develop people, whether she's training K through 5 educators to confidentially integrate technology into their classrooms, or designing the cyber workforce roadmap for 15,000 plus Army personnel. She is a natural community builder. Her leadership style is rooted in data-driven assessment, cross-functional collaboration, and a relentless commitment to professional development. Education and credentials. Yvette holds an MS in Air and Space Operations from Air University, an MA in Procurement and Acquisition Management from Webster University, and a BS in Business Management from the University of Maryland. She's a level 3 DOD Financial Management certified professional with extensive training in agile management, problem solving, and critical thinking. Recognized with numerous accolades, including the Exemplary Civilian Service Award and multiple performance awards, Yvette continues to drive excellence by blending rigorous operational discipline with a passion for educational equity and innovation. I bring to you now the amazing, incomparable, she's just so, her experience and who she is so vast. You're like, in that little petite body. Oh my goodness. I know her personally, and I didn't know all of this about her. Okay. And I like how I do this with my guest speakers. I don't want to know everything about them, so I can be just as amazed as you are. It's not fake, because I don't ask all those detailed questions in my private conversations. But without further ado, Yvette, welcome, welcome, beloved. You are just so amazing. So how did you get into because most women are geared towards social sciences and the soft things, but yours is like mathematical, quantum physics, that kind of arena. So how did that happen?
Well, good evening. Thank you for inviting me. It happened because a teacher, when I was in the, I guess, 10th or 11th grade, said to me, "You're not good in math, okay? You should be a fashion designer." And I don't know if she said it because to motivate me more in that field of mathematics, but I knew when I graduated from high school, I was going to get a job in financial management of some sort or some kind of management in mathematics because I'm going to prove her wrong. But I've always been interested in sciences. I am like a detective when it comes to sciences. I like to ask a lot of questions about
Wow.
things and how they operate and why they're operating that way. And if they are operating that way, how is it so that it can't operate that way? Science is one of those areas that is all around us. There's no way we
Yeah.
can get around science and math. And most people run away from math because if you don't grasp it right away, you feel like it's too hard for me. Same thing with the sciences. If you're not interested in science, you're not going to pursue it when you leave out of elementary school. You're going to automatically say, "It's too hard. I can't do it. I don't want to do it because I've already proven to myself I can't do it." But the way mobile STEAM solutions work, okay, I understand you told me you don't like it, third grade or fourth grade or fifth graders. Of course, kindergartens through first and second, they are still sponges. They want to learn everything because we all learn the same way. I don't care how old you are, through our five senses, our sight, our touch, our smell, our hearing. All of that has to do with the way we learn, besides our own cognitive skills that we have acquired, our knowledge, skills, and ability. That's what I mean from when you are a little kid all the way up to a grown up. You have lots of experiences. And all of those experiences, along with your book knowledge or your educational knowledge, or just talking to someone, your colleague, your relative, or just a friend or a stranger, all of that brings me to why I like what I'm doing today: the science, the technology, the engineering, the arts, artificial intelligence, and mathematics. And I'm learning more about quantum computing because in the future, all of these subject matters that most people don't like, except the new kids coming through, they have no other choice because we have already inundated them with these things. So they're not afraid of any of these subject matters. They're like, okay, bring them on to an extent. I understand a little bit about it because I play video games all day long, or better yet, I use my cell phone and I learned through my cell phone how to operate it. So I'm sure I can learn how to operate new technology such as robots that we have. Everybody has a robot in their house, 9 times out of 10. And your cell phone is like a robot to an extent because it's learning your behaviors, just like the artificial intelligence does. It learns your behavior. And also, it will succeed you in some of your knowledge and learn from it after it already has duplicated everything it feels it can learn from you. Okay. And what I mean by everybody has some kind of technology in their house, not just your cell phone, not just your tablet, not just your computer. You got smart televisions now. You got those security bells now. You got those iRobots that clean your carpet, that mop your floor. And guess what, people? They're trying to bring the humanoid robot into your world also. Now, every time I ask my students, what would you want your personal robot, if you had one, to do? I usually get the same answers from the third, fourth, fifth graders. Help me with my chores. That's what they always say. Now, you ask an adult that, they'll be like, I don't want that thing in my house. I don't know what that thing is going to do to me. I'm afraid of what it's going to do to me. So it's like totally night and day, the generations, okay? And I understand because when you don't understand or know what it is, you're going to be a little fearful. Just
Yeah.
like when we're learning a new system, and that new system requires us to undo our thinking and our culture of learning it that way to a new way. And when you do that, guess what? You get fearful and you get afraid. But once you overcome that learning curve, oh my gosh, you can't tell that person nothing that I did not know this already. So,
Mm.
same thing with kids. You learn through, again, those five senses. And kids love to do what? They love to play, right? At the ages of 5 through 11, that's the kindergarten age that I teach, through 11 through fifth grade. Only way you can get them not to learn is to, guess what? Just talk to them all day long. And they will not be learning. They'll be sleeping on their desk. Matter of fact, one thing about a kid I love so much is the fact that they are not afraid to tell you, you're boring me. They're not afraid to tell you, I don't understand. No question, they do not have a problem of asking. They will ask you about everything. And I'll give
Mm.
you a prime example. When you go back to popcorn, most people don't think popcorn has anything to do with only one thing. It tastes good, it smells good, okay? They think of science probably. That's all they think about. But think about it. When we first came along, you had popcorn that you use a pot, a oil, and kernels. As things progressed, okay, guess what came next? The Jiffy Pop machine. I mean, not machine, but the Jiffy Pop. It looked like a foil piece of aluminum with a handle on it, and you shake it, and all of a sudden it goes pop, 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 pop. Then you move from that generation to air poppers, where you just plug in and add the kernels with no oil anymore, but you still have heat, but it's not that type of heat of electrical. It's electrical heat, of course, which is that air pressure gets so hot, it turns those kernels into popcorn. Then the last phase is the microwavable popcorn, right? And these kids, as I'm telling them all of these things, it touches biology, it touches chemistry, and it touches, guess what? Physics. But they don't realize that until after I finish explaining it to them and showing them how it grows in the ground and it turns into a beautiful flower that is harvested. That's where you get your kernels from. That's the biology portion of it. And then when it starts popping, that's your chemical reaction, right? Your physical reaction. And then you move over to, guess what? Physics. That's the movement. When you hear that popcorn kernel start to sizzle and it starts to go pop, 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 that thermal energy. So these are terms that they will not get to learn about until, guess what? Who knows? Maybe in high school, maybe. Again, high school today is designed for options. When I was going to school, you had to take biology, you had to take certain classes, but now it seems like everything is optional if you want to or you don't want to. So I'm trying to expose them early so they heard these terms before and they understand a little bit about it when they go to middle school. Because I said when you get in middle school, you're definitely going to learn more about biology. You're definitely going to learn more about chemistry. And everything we do has to do with physics because you do a lot of movement every day, walking between classes, right? I told them. And you play games. That's all about physics too, whether you realize that or not. But the main thing is I want you just to learn these terms so it can help you as you go continue your education or your technical training or whatever it wants to be, self-employment or go into the military. Because my 3 R's are this. You are going to do this first. You're going to reconnect to the concept, or I'm going to teach you a new concept, or you're going to be reinforced with the new concept or the old concepts. And then I'm going to repeat this. And that's an example when I did the popcorn. That's a reconnection. You're familiar with popcorn, right? Now, the next part of that was reinforcement. You probably didn't know about the chemistry, the physics, and the biology. So I kind of reinforced that portion, and then we repeated it by, guess what? After it was all popped, I let you ask questions about it. I let you taste the different types of popcorn. And then I said, you're my future. I need you now to program this AI tool to produce something better than the microwavable popcorn, or better yet, the microwave. Maybe we're not going to be using a microwave to heat up popcorn, but this is your generation now to tell me and others you're going to share it. That's when you become my scientist. That's when you become, guess what? My engineer. Because the engineer does what? They design things, right? But Between the scientist being curious and the engineer being the designer, they both have one thing in common. They help solve world's problems. No matter what it is, that's what they do. They've been given a problem, they've been given a question, and guess what? They start researching it, they start testing it out, and voila, we have something brand spanking new that we asked that we needed at that point in time. And that's what I try to instill in them. Don't be afraid to innovate. Don't be afraid to take something that's already in existence and make it better. And because, for instance, when we play Twister, now, when I used to play Twister, it was, guess what? It was a flat piece of plastic with beautiful round colors on it, red, green, yellow, and blue, right? Now, fast forward, we have technology now. Now you can take that same game on your tablet, upload or download that application, okay? And guess what? That game is on your tablet. You can actually play it on your tablet, right? And they say, yeah, right, I can play this, I can play. I said, this again has to do what we are learning in this class. Technology, right? Science, right? Math. And getting back to the popcorn. The math portion of the popcorn, I start going through it. Every time we have a lesson, I make sure we're going to play a game or we're going to have some type of a project to help reinforce whatever it is I'm trying to talk about that day, whether it's about agriculture, or whether it's about the atmosphere, or whether it's about air pressure. Okay, no matter what it is, I always ask the question, how does it relate to science, technology, engineering, arts, artificial intelligence, and mathematics? Okay, because I want them to see this is going to be constant. This will never change, that one sentence of how it relates to whatever we do. But we're going to be just like a talk show. We're going to talk about these subjects until we blue in the face, but we're going to talk about them and do different things with these subjects where you're reinforcing it. Meaning that we talk about popcorn today, but we're going to talk about popcorn again maybe next year, but we're not going to demonstrate it the same way. What we're going to do is maybe plan it, and you're going to act like the scientist, where you're going to have a question. If I plant this seed in the ground, okay, my question is, what's going to happen? Is it going to go tall? Is it going to go short? Is it going to have multiple colors? Going to have no colors? Is it going to be edible or no edible? You tell me, what do you want the question to be? Because that is what we're going to guess to see what we are doing is what is actually going to happen. So we start going through those scientific steps, okay? And then after all of this is done, after you test it, you researched it, what do you want to do? You want to communicate what your results was, right? And then you want to come up with a conclusion to see if your hypothesis was correct. So I get them to get in front of and get used to being a presenter, because you need to be able to communicate besides being on your cell phone and your tablet, right? Get introduce yourself, and this is my plant, this is what I planted, this is my name, etc. And you explain what they're looking at. So I'm getting them used to doing that also. They're not going to get this in their regular school, because this, like I tell people, I'm not like your regular teacher. I'm going to teach you at where truly you are at when it comes to learning. And everybody loves playing games. Everybody loves playing games. That's why
I have something I want to interject at this point, because I think what people will probably want to know or commend you for doing is, this is what I'm hearing. You give them these hypothetical situations and you transform everything into a mathematical, physics, quantifiable kind of exercise, but you make it relatable. It's not just theory. So you like with the popcorn, you're taking it from the seed, which is just the biology, and then you're showing them how, when it's harvested, when it becomes heated, then it turns into this popcorn, and you talk about the process. The earlier process, when we had it in the skillet, then when we had Jiffy Pop, then when we had it in the air popper, now the microwave. So these are very real examples. They're not only children, but my adult audience, 50 plus, can sit back and relate to. Because when people hear the word STEM or
Mm-hmm.
STEAM, they
Mm-hmm.
automatically become intimidated because it
Mm-hmm.
seems like it's dealing with hard science. Because I know when I was growing up, very few people knew how to teach science in a way in which it was enjoyable. You either
Mm-hmm.
got it, you either were
Mm-hmm.
had a proclivity for it, or
Mm-hmm.
you would turn away from it. And I was a
Mm-hmm.
person who was kind of like in the middle. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
naturally have a propensity for it, but I wasn't repelled
Mm-hmm.
by it. And I was
Mm-hmm.
more into the arts and
Mm-hmm.
into humanistic things. But I think
Mm-hmm.
this is really good. So my question to you, Yvette, is this.
Mm-hmm.
Are there are you dealing with children from uh, urban environments? Are you dealing with people from a particular racial background? Because I know
All right.
within the African American community, we have so many brilliant children, and we don't
Mm-hmm.
have enough innovators like you teaching our
Mm-hmm.
children. They have this program called From the Pipeline Program from Elementary School to Prison.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they do in this society. They program children of color to do things that would have them end up in prison. And this program, what you have, is like a pipeline from elementary school to excellence to, uh, yeah, creating a new world. So,
Mm-hmm.
what's the demographic?
Yes, I work with Title 10 schools. Those are the schools who are somewhat considered to be uh, either skill level may not be at the grade level, or the individuals who attend may be economically challenged, or there are various different backgrounds. I mean, they could be the schools I've gone to, like the city school I went to in Baltimore, it was predominantly Black. Okay, I will say that, African American, but it also had other ethnic origins of cultures there too. Now, the main thing is when I go to like the school I'm at right now, for instance, it has a vast background of everybody in there to an extent. Okay. What
Mm.
is interesting is the language barrier. But for some reason, even I don't speak all these different languages, I've been able to break through with some of these individuals, um, and they can understand it. Again, we learn through our five senses, we learn through playing games. Okay. So
Mm.
all of that helps with the learning. And one thing I notice about kids, I don't care who they are, they love to volunteer. So I make sure if we're going to have some kind of experiment or do anything that requires a list of materials that I need, okay, then I will make sure somebody's handing out, say, the tape, somebody's handing out the scissors, somebody's handing out the eggs, somebody's handing out whatever it is, and they are so happy and thrilled just to be participating, which that to me brings them into what I call that movement management, because kids get bored real quickly, just like adults, but even quicker. But as long as you got them engaged in volunteering and presenting like I do, I don't care how old you are, I want you to get up and still present. You got some that are shy, but after the end of the class, they come to me and say, uh, I was a little afraid, but I'm glad, I got up there like everybody else. I said, I'm so proud of you. But I am a person too. If you answering questions and you participating, I'm going to give you something. Every day I'm going to give you something, because that's like an incentive or motivation. Some people may be down on that, but just like grown-ups, you want to be recognized for the things that you do, you offer, you bring to the table. Kids are no different. They're the same. Okay. So I make sure if you're going to participate today, then you're going to get something, no doubt about it. They know, they don't know what it is. It's a surprise. Okay. But they know Miss Williams is going to provide them something. Okay. So they are totally kind of sort of engaged. And one thing about it is, when I was working with some of the fifth graders, okay, and the third graders. See, the third graders are just like a teenager, 13, 14, 15, 16 years. They at that point where they're not babies, don't call them babies, definitely not, but they're not old enough to be called yet a pre-teenager. So they are really going through some things. And I picked that up when I first walked into the classroom for my very first time with the young ones, how sensitive they can really be. Okay. So I know I had to change my structure of how I'm going to talk to the third graders versus the fifth graders who already know they're on their way to middle school, but they don't know, like I was mentioning, you're going to be brand spanking new as if you are a kindergartner going into the middle school. So you need to be prepared to be able to hold your own and show them that I may be a fifth grader, but I can keep up with what's going on at this school, in this classroom, that I can be in the same classroom as you because I've learned this stuff from Miss Williams. That's how I want you to think about this when I am in the classroom with you, because these things I'm teaching you is going to follow you all the way up till 12th to college and even outside of your school training. And you got to remember that. So keep in mind, with an open mind, I said, always ask me questions. If you don't understand, trust me, somebody in here has the same question, but they're afraid to ask. But like I said, most of the elementary age kids, they're not shy. I love it. They are so expressive in their facial expressions when you're singing stuff. And that's when I know, okay, I need to lower it a little bit more because they didn't pick it up because of their facial expression looking like me. Okay, deer in the headlight. Look, I got it. We will re-engage this same project that we're working on so you can understand it better, because I want you to be able to go home and ask your parents sometime, do they know how to do this experiment, or why this experiment results is this type of an outcome, and come
Well,
back and tell me, hey, what did your parents say? Because I'm always curious to see if you did it or you didn't do it. I said, but those who do it, guess what? There's always a surprise for you. And those who don't, you don't get a surprise, because at the end of the class, it's like, well, why did I get? Because remember, I gave you a little task. It was up to you, it was optional. But next time, I guess you will go and challenge your parents on some of the stuff that I just taught you in class. And
and
that gives you an incentive.
what's really amazing about the work that you do, and I have to get, because we're coming to a close pretty soon,
Okay.
is that you are planting the seeds inside of some of these children whose parents
Mm-hmm.
have been educationally challenged, whose parents may not have graduated from high school for different reasons, but
Mm-hmm.
who are so happy that their children are experiencing some of the things that you're teaching them, because
Mm-hmm.
you never know who you may be preparing for the next generation. You may know
Mm-hmm.
this person. I think his name was Marcus Johnson. He was
Mm-hmm.
in 1985.
Mm-hmm.
He was born in prison. His mom was in prison. He
Mm-hmm.
stayed in prison for the first 3 years of his life. And
Mm-hmm.
then they released him to his grandmother, and he was living in really dire circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have running water, rats were running around. He ended
Mm-hmm.
up having to be the messenger for drug dealers in the neighborhood
Mm-hmm.
and stealing food
Mm-hmm.
because they were so poor. And what
Mm-hmm.
happened one day was that he found this physics book in a
Mm-hmm.
trash can, and
Mm-hmm.
that tweaked is, and I'm comparing it to you
Yes.
in
Mm-hmm.
terms of how you are sparking the curiosity in these children.
Mm-hmm.
That sparked his curiosity. And for some reason, that was his gift. He started to study and learned it. And when he was in school, in high school,
Mm-hmm.
the teachers thought that he had that some kind of way that he had stolen the answers to these physics problems that he didn't know.
Okay.
And what he
Mm-hmm.
did is he went in front of the class and broke down
The formula probably.
complicated physics
Mm-hmm.
situations and problems. He
Mm-hmm.
won 3 to 4 degrees. He applied to
Mm-hmm.
college without anyone knowing that he was applying to
Mm-hmm.
college. Now
Mm-hmm.
he works for NASA, and
Mm-hmm.
he has an incredible background. He came
Mm-hmm.
from poverty, having been born in a prison
Mm-hmm.
because his
Mm-hmm.
mother was incarcerated for bank
Mm-hmm.
robbery. So you
Mm-hmm.
can't, all you do is you plant the seed. That's
Mm-hmm.
what you're doing. It is so amazing, Yvette,
Mm-hmm.
because these children, but for someone like you, they've been cast aside. They have been told, a lot of them, that at best, they may get a high school diploma and maybe play football or basketball. They're steered in something that's not going to intellectually challenge them. You are doing something like this young man. I think his name's Marcus Johnson, because I'll look it up again. I just saw it recently, and I was so impressed. He was born in 1985. This is a real story. So
And
what
see
you're
what
doing,
you're saying
you're
too.
planting the seed.
And what you're saying is funny you bring that up. I didn't even say that, but I always try to find young kids who are 13 years old and between 13 and 18 years old who are doing fantastic work in the science, technology, engineering, arts, artificial intelligence, mathematics. I don't know if you remember the young man that was in front of the Time magazine. Time magazine has a Time magazines for juniors. This young person developed something, okay, for your skin, okay? It's like a lotion or cream, but he developed this and this helps people. And I said, just like he's no different than you. He had a curiosity. And I want you to spark a curiosity. Okay. I know a lot of you would like to be in sports, young men in this class. I understand it. How many people on a team? I'll go around and ask them, how many of those people do you think applied for that position? But think of it this way. We're in a sports industry. What do sports people need? They need people to take care of them when they get injured, right? They need somebody to run the drone so you can see the plays. They need somebody to take care of the fields, right? They need somebody to coach them. All of these different things I'm telling you, even medication to get better, x-ray technician. You can still be in the sports arena industry and make money, but you may not make the team, but you're still doing what your passion is desiring you to do. So don't rule yourself out just because you don't make the team. There are other positions out there and careers out there, because I don't like to say job. Anybody can get a job and make money. We want a career where you're going to invest your time into building your knowledge, skills, and ability to become an expert. That's how I teach them about careers and jobs. There is a difference, okay? But that's what I try to get them to think about. Always, no matter if you succeed or don't, think about the other positions that industry will need, that you can go into that particular career and work in that industry. Don't give up and beat yourself up.
Yeah, before we run out of time, I want you to give people your contact information. How can they reach you? People who have young boys and girls. Girls are extremely important, as we saw in the movie Six Figures. Yeah, who were human computers back in the day in the 50s. So how can I get in touch with you, Yvette?
Well, I'm mobile, and I'm mobile for a reason. I'll go anywhere in the world that you would like my services. Mobile STEAM Solutions. So it's www.mobilesteam. That stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts, Artificial Intelligence, and Mathematics Solutions. So it's www.mobilesteam with two A's solutions.com. You can reach me at 240-419-7282. And I'll be glad to come and train your teachers. I'll be glad to come and train me and the staff, your instructors. But the key here is this is the foundation, kindergartners through fifth grade. If you get them interested in the science, the technology, the engineering, arts, and mathematics now, and artificial intelligence, and don't forget about agriculture, because that is a great part of this too.
Yes.
They will be gainfully employed for a very long time. Because one thing about this career field, they are interchangeable, okay? Not just tunnel, I learned this particular skill and this is all I can do. No, you can interchange and work in nanotechnology. You can work in stem cells. You can work in mechanical engineering. Whatever it is, you can intertwine all of them together. That's the good thing about it. You have multiple, what I call multiple skills, not just one, but multiple skills. So keep that in mind when your kid says, hey, mom, I would like to do this. Do not tear them down. Go out and get a kit and let them learn with this kit, because they're telling you right now and they're showing you, this is what I would like to do, something in the science area. But they don't know this, but they know that they want this particular toy. And believe me, every toy has a problem to solve, because you got to figure it out. Every toy has critical thinking. I mean, how many of you play chess? And not only chess, play cards. It requires thinking, strategizing, problem solving. It
True.
provides an outcome, okay? Whether you lose or you win, but it definitely challenges you. So you should always kind of somewhat challenge your kid to an extent. But again, within their particular grade level,
Mm.
meaning if they're not mastered the third grade yet, then stick with the third grade of challenges until they're able to reach the fourth grade at the third grade level.
Mm.
And again, mobilesteamsolutions.com is my website. And
Oh,
thank you so much.
this is so wonderful, wonderful, Yvette, because what you've done, I just admire you and your work, because what you've done is you've taken these children who have been programmed nowadays to only think about sports or to
Mm-hmm,
think about being the next rapper or something like
mm-hmm,
that. These
mm-hmm.
things, okay, that's cute. But what you're talking about, this is going to change the world, change
Yes.
society, and it's stimulating their brain cells because they're
Mm-hmm,
geniuses. If you
mm-hmm,
watch little babies, like I
mm-hmm,
tell people, I said, they're master psychologists. They don't have a
mm-hmm,
job. Their job is
mm-hmm.
to watch you, and
That's
they know
right.
how to manipulate you.
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm,
nowadays with little babies, if you give them a phone, a cell phone, they can unlock it. They can lock
mm-hmm.
it.
They figure it out.
They
Mm-hmm,
automatically. I've seen people
mm-hmm,
give children little computer games, and all of a sudden, those children within less than a day know how to work it.
mm-hmm,
They
mm-hmm.
know how to work it. They know how to do whatever it takes without even being able to talk well. They just
Yeah.
know they come out of the womb.
It's great eye coordination playing games. It's great cognitive skills. It is great muscles too, because the muscles, you're using muscles and to be able to operate that game. So coordination is very important. Collaboration is very important because they're playing some of these games with people who are all over the world and they're collaborating on how they can beat their opponent. So it's not always 100% bad for your kids to be on those particular video games. Okay. So keep
So
that in
as long
mind
as,
too, parents.
yeah, as long I think
Everything
as
in
long,
moderation, like the parents used
yes.
to say, moderation is the key.
And I think two M's, moderation and monitoring, because now
Yeah, that too. You got to
things are
monitor.
happening. These children are being lured away with human trafficking. So
Mhm.
parents, make sure that you are monitoring your children when they're on these computer games and whatever, because the predators are there too. They're watching them. So, but
Mhm.
anyway, Yvette, thank you so much. It's been indeed a pleasure. I've learned something about you that I didn't know. Because when we talk, we never talk about this. So,
No,
it's
work is
really,
usually
really
left
good.
at work usually.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I don't
this,
consider my job working because of number one, I consider it fun to play with the kids because I consider I'm playing with the kids every day. That's how I consider it. We're playing while we're learning.
that's and that's a beautiful way to see it because
And I
it
see it
brings,
creatively too,
yeah,
creatively, because everybody is not all scientific. We got a lot of people in my
yeah,
classrooms who have been very uh, as they say, fond of the arts. So I show you how the arts also play into engineering, how it plays into science. So yes, you do have a part in this because remember, art is all about expression. It's all about who, what, where you want to, I should say, drive the audience because the way you present your poetry, the way you paint, the way you sculpture, all of that is a reflection upon what you want them to feel at the time of your expression of making whatever it is you
yeah,
want to make. And that's what I teach them. I don't care. Like, for instance, I remember giving one of my classes an assignment to paint something. Oh, I don't want to paint anything. What do we do in this class? We try. If you try, then if it doesn't work out, you know that is not where you need to be at this present time in your life. But I want you to try. When they finish painting, oh, I don't like it. Let me tell you how art works. It works just like you and I. We're individual masterpieces. We're not the same.
like that. Yeah,
Nowhere, shape, form, or fashion. This piece of art, you put it on a art gallery somewhere, you'll be surprised. Somebody will want to buy this just because
mhm,
you don't like it, someone will see something in your painting that struck them at that particular point in time and they will buy your painting. So
mhm.
never say your artwork is not nice or it doesn't look good because somebody outside of you and I appreciates what you have just done for them.
Mm-hmm.
And
On
I'll
that
close on
note,
that.
I thank you so much
Mm-hmm.
because you've ended on a very high note of telling people that just dream your dream and believe in you. And
Mm-hmm.
know that there is a place for your artistry, your gift, because everyone, so
Mm-hmm.
people out there who have grandchildren, 50
Mm-hmm.
plus, they're your grandchildren, who
Mm-hmm.
have grandchildren, instill in them the desire to dream and to think of the world as their oyster. There's nothing
Mm-hmm.
impossible for them to do. So
Exactly.
please, please, audience, have your grandchildren know how much you love them or great friends and whatever, and pour into them like Yvette is doing with these children that she works with. So Yvette, thank you so very, very much. It has been indeed a learning
Yes.
experience for me and a joy and a pleasure. And everyone out there, thank you again for being a part of Gray Lives on the Rise. Okay. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Gray Lives on the Rise, being brought to you by Jamila Scents, which is the product line of Oyende Enterprises. Jamila Scents is a 100% natural aromatherapy line that heals the mind, body, and soul. This episode of Gray Lives on the Rise was intended to uplift you, to inspire you, and to motivate you. Please tell all of your friends, family members, and anyone you know who's 50 plus, who's living a vibrant life and interested in doing more and enjoying life even to its fullest. So thank you, and please subscribe, like, and comment on this video and all our videos. Thank you, and until next time, until our next podcast, namaste and be well.